Egyptian civilization is one of the oldest civilizations that had a huge impact on the ancient world of that time, and now I would like to tell you why you probably wouldn't survive a day there. In this video, we're going to talk about the New Kingdom or the Egyptian Empire, which was the era of the greatest prosperity of the ancient Egyptian state from 1550 to 1069 BC. Well, it's also the period that historians know the most about from the personal records of the ancient Egyptians. So if you go to ancient Egypt, you probably won't work a good job like the Egyptians did, like blacksmiths, weavers, farmers, scribes, teachers. In general, the Egyptians lived pretty well. They were usually paid in different things, there was no money back then, and they ate well. Also, almost every Egyptian could afford to be mummified after death to get into the afterlife, but slaves could not, so they were buried in mass graves. So keep in mind that you are a slave and do not know their language or culture. Slaves in ancient Egypt were mostly warriors from other countries who were captured. So your new home will now be a small clay cube without furniture. Such dwellings lived prisoners. You could also easily be sold, for example, for wheat to another Egyptian. Egyptians will treat you badly, and since they call people like you the living dead. You will be lucky if you clean or cook in the house of some rich Egyptian, but you may be unlucky if you are sent to build, for example, the pyramids. Slaves in principle did different dirty work, for example, built roads or monuments. And of course you also have no rights, and the owner can beat the slave, but he has no right to kill you, and you will not have different jewelry and a wig. In general in ancient Egypt everyone wore wigs made of human hair, or well, first the Egyptian had all the hair on his head cut, and it did not matter if it was a man or a woman, and then they put on a wig. It was considered very beautiful, but you will not have a wig. Diseases. During the New Kingdom, Egyptians suffered from various diseases such as malaria, schistosomiasis, and tuberculosis. Egyptians divided diseases into natural and supernatural. The first they attributed to unhealthy food and intestinal parasites. The Egyptians believed that the supernatural causes of illness were evil spirits of the dead that inhabited the body. Egyptian doctors treated all diseases with natural substances with antibiotic properties, such as honey and onions, which could be used to treat infections. They also performed rituals to find out which demon possessed the patient and cure them. There were many demons, and there were cures for almost every disease. According to researchers, onions, a natural compound called natron, cuts on wounds and bandages were used by ancient Egyptian doctors to treat snake bites and scorpion bites. But as you can imagine, slaves could not afford this and usually just died from various diseases. But you can be glad that they gave you beer, or, more accurately, a thick porridge, most likely cloudy and sweet, with a low alcohol content, which was mainly made from wheat, barley and grass. In general, the Egyptians ate vegetables, fruits, milk, dairy products and fish. And because of all these reasons, an unprepared person is unlikely to survive.